Good morning students. I hope you all well at home by the God's grace. In this video class, we are going to revise chapter 2, 3 and 5. Revise everything carefully without missing anything and prepare well for your quarterly exam. Now let's find the area and perimeter of a parallelogram from the exercise number 2.1. Question number 1, subdivision 1. The height and the sides of the parallelogram is given. We need to find the area and its perimeter. Base B is equal to 11 cm and height h is equal to 3 cm. We need to find the area of the parallelogram by using the formula B into h square units, which is equal to 11 into 3, 33 cm square. Next, in question number 2, a tabular column is given. In the tabular column, some of the measurements are given. By using that measurements, we should find the missing values. In subdivision 1, base B is equal to 18 cm, height h is equal to 5 cm is given. Area of the parallelogram is missing. We should find the area of the parallelogram by using the formula B into h. In subdivision 2, base B is equal to 8 meter and the area of the parallelogram is given as 56 square meter. By using the formula area is equal to B into h, we need to find the height of the parallelogram. By dividing 56 by 8, we can get the value of height, which is 7 meter. In subdivision 3, height h is given and the area of the parallelogram is also given. We need to find the base of the parallelogram by using the formula A is equal to B into h. We can find the value of B easily by dividing 221 by 17. Dividing 221 by 17 table, we get 13. Therefore, the base of the parallelogram is equal to 13 millimeter. Question number 3. Suresh won a parallelogram shaped trophy in a state level chess tournament. He knows that the area of the trophy is 735 square centimeter and its base is 21 centimeter. What is the height of the trophy? From the question, the given data are the base B is equal to 21 centimeter and the area of the parallelogram A is equal to 735 square centimeter. Area of the parallelogram is given, that is 735 square centimeter from the question itself, and we know that the formula for area of the parallelogram is B into h. The base is given as 21. To get the value of h, we have to divide 735 by 21. Let's see how I divide 735 by 21. 3 21s are 63. Subtracting 63 from 73, we get 10. Bring down 5, we get 105. 5 21s are 105. From the quotient, we get the answer as 35. Therefore, the height of the trophy is 35 centimeter. Question number 4. Janaki has a piece of fabric in the shape of a parallelogram. Its height is 12 meter and its base is 18 meter. She cuts the fabric into 4 equal parallelograms by cutting the parallel sides through its midpoints. Find the area of each new parallelogram. According to the problem, the base length of the fabric is equal to 18 meter and the height is equal to 12 meter. She cuts the area of the parallelogram into 4 equal parts by cutting the sides through its midpoints, as shown in the figure. When she cuts a parallel side of the length through its midpoint, she gets 2 equal parts. So the total length is divided by 2. Similarly for the height. When she cuts a parallel side of the height through its midpoint, she gets 2 equal parts. So the total height is divided by 2. So the base length and the height of the required parallelogram is base is equal to 9 meter and the height is equal to 6 meter. We know that the formula for area of the parallelogram is equal to base into height square units. Using the values of the base length and the height in the formula, we get the area of the required parallelogram. A ground is in the shape of parallelogram. The height of the parallelogram is 14 meters and the corresponding base is 8 meters longer than the height. Find the cost of leveling the ground at the rate of ₹15 per square meter. According to the problem, the height of the parallelogram is equal to 14 meter and the base is 8 meter longer than the height, which is equal to 14 plus 8 is equal to 22 meter. We know that the formula for area of the parallelogram is equal to base into height square units. Using the values of the base and the height, we get it as 308 meter square. By multiplying 308 by ₹15, we get the cost of leveling of the area. In question number 6, the adjacent sides are given. They are asking us to find the perimeter of the parallelogram. By using the formula, we get it as 22 centimeter. Option 4 is the answer. In question number 7, they have given the base and the height, which is 10 meter and 7 meter respectively. By using the formula area is equal to B into H, we get the answer as 70 square meter. In question number 8, the area and the height of the parallelogram is given. We have to find the base of the parallelogram. Dividing the area by 4, we get the base, which is equal to 13 centimeter. According to the problem 9, by increasing the base into 2 times and decreasing the height into half, the area remains the same, which you can understand from the answer. By given in the question, height is equal to 8 centimeter, base is equal to 3 times the height, which is equal to 3 into 8 equal to 24 centimeter. By the formula, we get the area as 192 centimeter square. Question 1. Find the area of rhombus PQRS of the following diagram. From the diagram, we can extract the value of diagonals D1 and D2. They are D1 is equal to 8 centimeter and D2 is equal to 16 centimeter. By using the value of these diagonals in this formula, we can get the area of rhombus as 64 centimeter square. Question 2. Find the area of a rhombus whose base is 14 centimeter and the height is 9 centimeter. By using the value of base and height, we can easily find the area of rhombus by using the formula base into height square units. When we multiply 14 times 9, we get 126. Therefore, the area of rhombus is equal to 126 centimeter square. In third one, they have given D2 as 12 millimeter and the area is equal to 180 square millimeter. D1 we have to find that. We know that the formula for area of rhombus is equal to 1 by 2 into D1 into D2 square units. By using the values of D2 and the area of the rhombus as given in the formula, we get 180 is equal to 1 by 2 into D1 into 12 square millimeter, which is equal to 180 is equal to D1 into 6. By cancelling 12 by 2, we get 6. To get the value of D1, we have to divide 180 by 6. By dividing 180 by 6, we get 30 millimeter, which is the required answer. Next, question number 4. The area of a rhombus is 100 square centimeter and the length of one of its diagonal is 8 centimeter. Find the length of the other diagonal. Using the values of area and the diagonal in the formula, we can get the value of diagonal 2. For that, we have to simplify by dividing 8 by 2 and by dividing 100 by 4. Finally, we get the length of the other diagonal. D2 is equal to 25 centimeter. Next, question number 5. A sweet is in the shape of a rhombus whose diagonals are given as 4 cm and 5 cm. The surface of the sweet should be covered by an aluminium foil. Find the cost of aluminium foil used for 400 such sweets at the rate of rupees 7 per 100 square centimeter. At first, we have to find the area of the sweet of D1 is equal to 4 cm and D2 is equal to 5 cm and multiply the area into 400 times to get the area for 400 sweets, that is equal to 4000 centimeter square. For finding the cost of all such sweets at the rate of rupees 7 per 100 sweets, we have to divide 4000 into 40 times, which is equal to 40 into 100. Then multiply 40 with rupees 7 since the cost of 100 sweet is equal to rupees 7. So the cost of aluminium foil used is equal to rupees 280. Question 6. The area of the rhombus with side 4 cm and height 3 cm is 12 square centimeter. Option 3 is the answer. Question 7. The area of the rhombus when both diagonals measuring 8 cm is 32 square centimeter. Option 2 is the answer. Question 8. The area of the rhombus is 128 cm and the length of one diagonal is 32 cm. The length of the other diagonal is 8 cm. Option 2 is the answer. Question 9. The height of the rhombus whose area 96 square meter and side 24 meter is 4 meter. Option 4 is the answer. Question 10. The angle between the diagonals of a rhombus is 90 degree since the diagonals intersect each other at 90 degree. So option 3 is the answer. Let us see the exercise number 2.3 question number 2. Find the area of a trapezium whose parallel sides are 24 cm and 20 cm and the distance between them is 15 cm. The given values of the parallel sides are A is equal to 24 cm and B is equal to 20 cm. We know that the distance between A and B is H, which is equal to 15 cm. and area of the trapezium is half the times of h into a plus b square units. By substituting the values of a, b and h, we get half into 15 into 24 plus 20 centimeter, which is equal to half into 15 into 44, which is equal to 330 centimeter squared, which is the required area of trapezium. Let us see exercise number 3.1. In question number 6, they are given the value of x and y, and they are asking us to find the value of the expressions. For finding the value of the expression 2x minus 3y, we have to use the values of x and y. By simplifying, we get the value of the expression 2x minus 3y as minus 5. Similarly, we can find the values of the other expressions with this same method. Students, I hope you all now good at adding, subtracting and simplifying algebraic expressions. By the continuation of that, you are going to learn how to solve a given equation. Exercise number 3.2, first question, fill in the blanks. Subdivision 1, the addition of minus 7b and 2b is, for finding the answer we have to add minus 7b with 2b. When we add minus 7 with 2, you will get minus 5. So the answer is minus 5b. Next is subdivision 2, the subtraction of 5m from minus 3m is dash. Subtraction of 5m from minus 3m, which means we have to subtract 5m from minus 3m. So we have to write like this, minus 3 minus 5 into m, which is equal to minus 8m. Next is subdivision 3, the additive inverse of minus 37xyz is plus 37xyz. Next question number 2, say true or false. Subdivision 1, the expression 8x plus 3y and 7x plus 2y cannot be added is false. Next, subdivision 2, if x is a natural number, then x plus 1 is its predecessor. It's a false sentence. For x, x plus 1 is its successor. Subdivision 3, sum of a minus b plus c and minus a plus b minus c is 0, which is a true sentence, because when we add these patterns mutually, the terms get cancelled. Next, question number 3. In question number 3, we are going to add the given terms. In subdivision 1, we are going to add 8x with 3x. When we add 8x with 3x, we have to take x out and write 8 plus 3 into x. When we add 8 with 3, you will get 11. So the answer is 11x. Similarly, we can write the answer for the other subdivisions too. Next, question number 4. In question number 4, we are going to subtract the given terms. Let us see the answer for the first subdivision. Here we are going to subtract 4k from 12k. 4k and 12k are like terms. Before adding or subtracting the like terms, you have to take the common variable out. After taking the variable out, we can subtract 4 from 12 easily. 12 minus 4 is 8, so the answer is 8k. Similarly, we can find the answer for the other subdivisions too. Subtracting 15q from 25q is 10q, and subtracting 7xyz from 17xyz is 10xyz. Next, question number 5. Find the sum of the following expressions. In subdivision 1, they are given 3 expressions. They are 7p plus 6q, 5p minus q, q plus 16p. We have to add all these 3 expressions. Let's see how to add these expressions. Students, take a look at this third expression. Its order is slightly changed. we should correct it and write it as 16p plus q. After that, arrange the expressions like this, and we have to add all these three numbers. You will get 28. Here in right side, minus q plus q is getting cancelled. You will get 6q only. So the answer is 28p plus 6q. Next, question number 6. Subtract 13x plus 12y minus 5 from 27x plus 5y minus 43. We should write this second expression at first, from which we are going to subtract the first expression. Before starting the subtraction, we should change the signs of the first expression. Plus 13x should be changed to minus 13x. Plus 12y should be changed to minus 12y. Minus 5 should be changed to plus 5. 27x minus 13x is equal to 14x. 5y minus 12y is equal to minus 7y. Minus 43 plus 5 is equal to minus 38. Students, I hope you all now good at adding, subtracting and simplifying algebraic expressions. By the continuation of that, you are going to learn how to solve a given equation. Before starting the exercise number 3.3, let's look at the definition of equation. An equation is always equated to either a numerical value or another algebraic expression. For example, 7x plus 3 is equal to 17 is an equation. But this need not be always be so. The right hand side may be an expression containing the variable. For example, 7x plus 3 is equal to 3x minus 1. I hope you understood what is an equation. Now let's start our exercise number 3.3. In exercise number 3.3, I have given first two questions as assignment. So let's start with question number 3. In question number 3, they are given 5 subdivisions to solve. We'll see the answer for these questions one by one. In subdivision 1, they are given x plus 5 is equal to 8. We need to solve this equation. Solving an equation means that getting the value of the variable. To find the answer for x here, we need to subtract 5 on both the sides. Plus 5 and minus 5 is getting cancelled. Subtracting 5 from 8, you will get 3. So the answer for x is equal to 3. Next, in subdivision 2, for finding the answer for p, we need to add 3 on both the sides. By cancelling plus 3 and minus 3, you will get the answer for p, which is equal to 10. In subdivision 3, they are given 2x is equal to 30. For finding the answer for x, we need to divide by 2 on both the sides. Cancelling 2 on both numerator and denominator, will get x is equal to 30 divided by 2. Dividing 30 by 2, we will get 15. So the answer is x is equal to 15. In subdivision 4, they are given m by 6 is equal to 5. For finding the answer for m, we need to multiply 6 on both the sides. So m into 6 divided by 6, which is equal to 5 into 6. Cancelling 6 by 6 on both numerator and denominator, will get m is equal to 5 into 6, which is equal to 30. Therefore, the answer is m is equal to 30. For finding the answer for x in subdivision 5, we need to subtract 10 on both the sides and cancel plus 10 and minus 10 at first. Then we need to divide by 7 on both numerator and denominator. Then by dividing 70 by 7, we get 10. So the answer is x is equal to 10. Next, question number 4. What should be added with 3x plus 6y to get 5x plus 8y? Students, we don't know what expression to be added with 3x plus 6y. So we are going to take that unknown expression as p of x. By the question, p of x should be added with 3x plus 6y to get 5x plus 8y. By cancelling plus 3x plus 6y minus 3x plus 6y in left side, we get 5x plus 8y minus of 3x plus 6y in right side, which means we need to subtract 3x plus 6y from 5x plus 8y. Before subtracting 3x plus 6y from 5x plus 8y, we need to change its sign. After changing the sign, we should segregate the corresponding terms and take the common variable out, so that we can subtract 3 from 5 and get 2x, 6 from 8 and get 2y. Finally, we get 2x plus 2y, which is the required expression to be added with 3x plus 6y to get 5x plus 8y. Next, question number 5. 9 added to thrice a whole number gives 45. Find the number. To find the answer, let the whole number be x. By the question, thrice the whole number, which is equal to 3x, should be added with 9. That means 3x plus 9, which gives 45. Therefore, 3x plus 9, which is equal to 45 by the question. From this equation, we should find the answer for x. For finding the answer for x, we need to subtract 9 on both the sides, and by cancelling plus 9 and minus 9 in left side, we get 3x is equal to 36. By dividing 36 by 3, we get 12, which is the required answer. Next, question number 6. Find the two consecutive odd numbers whose sum is 200. Students, you know what is odd number very well. Do you know how we are getting the odd number? If it is 1 is the first number, then the next number is 1 plus 2, which is 3. And the next number 3 plus 2, 5. Similarly, if we continue this process, we will get x, x plus 2 as consequent numbers. By the question, their sum is equal to 200, which means x plus 2 is equal to 200. After simplifying this equation by usual, we get x is equal to 99. So the number will be x is equal to 99, and the next number will be x plus 2 is equal to 99 plus 2, which is equal to 101. So the required consequent numbers are 99 and 101. Next, question number 7. The taxi charges in a city comprise of a fixed charge of rupees 100 for 5 kilometers and rupees 16 per kilometer for every additional kilometer. If the amount paid at the end of the trip was rupees 740, find the distance travelled. Let the distance travelled by the taxi be x kilometer. For the first 5 kilometers, the charge is equal to rupees 100. For additional kilometers, the charge is equal to rupees 16 into x minus 5. So the total charge is equal to 100 plus 16 into x minus 5. And the amount paid is equal to rupees 740. Therefore, 100 plus 16 into x minus 5 is equal to 740. By subtracting 100 and dividing by 16 on both the sides, we get x minus 5 is equal to 40. On simplifying further, we get x is equal to 45. So the total distance is equal to 45 km. Let's see some of the objective questions. Question number 8. The generalization of the number pattern 3, 6, 9, 12 is? The answer is subdivision 3, 3n. Question number 9. The solution of 3x plus 5 is equal to x plus 9 is? Subdivision 1, 2. Next, question number 10. The equation y plus 1 is equal to 0 is true only when y is equal to minus 1. Let us see some of the questions and answer from the exercise number 5.1. Let's start with the question number 3. Find the angle GEH from the given figure. Since by the question angle HEF is equal to sum of angle HEG and angle GEF, by substituting the values from the diagram, we get 120 degree is equal to angle HEG plus 34 degree. After simplifying this expression, we get angle GEH is equal to 86 degree, which is the required answer. Question number 4. Given that AB is a straight line, calculate the value of x in the following cases. In subdivision 1, from the diagram we get 72 degree plus x degree is equal to 180 degree, since the angles are linear pair. By simplifying this expression, we get the value of x as 108 degree, which is the required answer. By using the result of linear pair, we can find the value of x for the next subdivisions too. Question number 6. If the three angles at the point are in the ratio 1:4:7, find the value of each angle. Since by the result we can say that the sum of all angles at the point is equal to 360 degree. So by the result we can write the question as 1x plus 4x plus 7x is equal to 360 degree. From this expression we can simplify and find the answer for x as 30 degree. By that we can say that the required angles are 30 degree, 120 degree and 210 degree. Question number 7. There are 6 angles at the point. One of them is 45 degree and the other 5 angles are all equal. What is the measure of all the 5 angles? We know that the sum of angles at the point is 360 degree. From the question we can say that one angle is 45 degree. To find the value of x, we have to add all the given angles and equate it to 360 degree. And by simplifying, we get x is equal to 315 degree divided by 5, which is equal to 63 degree, which is the required answer. Question number 9. The angles at the point are x degree, 2x degree, 3x degree, 4x degree and 5x degree. Find the value of the largest angle. Here the largest angle is 5x degree. For finding that angle, we should find the value of x. For that we know that the sum of all angles at a point is equal to 360 degree. By using this result, we can easily find the value of x as 24 degree. By multiplying 24 by 5, we get the largest angle as 120 degree. Question number 11. Find the angles x degree and y degree in the figure shown. From the diagram we can say that x degree and 3x degree are linear pair. That is, x degree plus 3x degree is equal to 180 degree, which implies that x is equal to 45 degree. Also, since 3x and y are vertically opposite angles, therefore 3x is equal to y degree. By using the value of x, we get 3 into 45 degree is equal to y degree, which implies that y is equal to 135 degree. Hence, the value of x is equal to 45 degree and y is equal to 135 degree, which is the required answer. Question number 12. Using the figure, answer the following questions. What is the measure of angle x and what is the measure of angle y? From the figure, x degree and 125 degree are vertically opposite angles, so they are equal. That is, x degree is equal to 125 degree. Also, y degree and 125 degree are linear pair of angles. Therefore, y degree plus 125 degree is equal to 180 degree. From this expression, we can simplify that y degree is equal to 55 degree. Hence, the required values of x degree and y degree are 125 degree and 55 degree respectively. Now let us see some of the exercise question and answers. Question number 2. Find the measure of angle x in each of the following figures. Here in the second question, subdivision 1, the given lines M and N are parallel. Here the line L is a transversal which cuts the lines M and N at distinct points. When a transversal cuts two parallel lines at distinct points, the corresponding angles so formed are equal. Therefore, x degree is equal to 35 degree, which is the required answer. In the similar way, we can find all the angles for other subdivisions also. Question number 3. Find the measure of angle y in each of the following figures. When a transversal cuts two parallel lines at distinct points, the alternate interior angles are equal. Therefore, the angle y is equal to 28 degree. Question number 5. Find the value of an angle A in each of the following figure. As I said earlier, when a transversal cut two parallel lines, the corresponding angles are equal. Therefore, 3a is equal to 126 degree. A is equal to 126 divided by 3, which is equal to 42 degree. Question number 6. Find the value of angle x in both the figures. Here L is a transversal and M and N are parallel lines. L cuts M and N at distinct points. Therefore, the alternate interior angles are equal. By equating these two angles, we get 2x plus 15 is equal to 3x minus 40, which implies that 40 plus 15, which is equal to 3x minus 2x. By simplifying this expression, we get x is equal to 55, which is the required answer. In this similar way, we can find the answer for the next subdivisions too. A line is a straight path that goes on endlessly in two directions. A line segment is a line with two endpoints. A ray is a straight path that begins at a point and goes on and extends endlessly in the other direction. The lines which intersect each other at a point are called intersecting lines. If the distances between two lines are equal at each point, then the lines are called parallel lines. If three or more points lie on the same line, then they are called collinear points. If the points are not on the same line, then the points are called non-collinear points. An angle is formed when two rays diverge from a common point, and the rays forming an angle are called the arms of the angle, and the common point is called the vertex of the angle. You have studied different types of angles such as acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle, straight angle and reflex angle in class 6. Also, we have studied about related angles such as complementary angles and supplementary angles in our previous classes. Let us learn them. Two angles are called complementary angles if their sum is 90 degree. Two angles are called supplementary angles if their sum is 180 degree. In this class, we are going to learn some more related angles such as adjacent angles, linear pair of angles and vertically opposite angles. Two angles which have a common vertex and a common arm whose interior do not overlap are called adjacent angles. The adjacent angles that are supplementary lead us to a pair of angles that lie on the straight line. This pair of angles are called linear pair of angles. Let us learn an important result. The sum of all angles formed at a point on a straight line is 180 degree. When two lines intersect each other, two pair of non-adjacent angles formed are called vertically opposite angles. A and B are one pair of vertically opposite angles and C and D are one pair of opposite angles. Here we are going to see the types of angles in detail. An angle less than 90 degree is called an acute angle. An angle which is equal to 90 degree is called right angle. An angle which is equal to 180 degree is called straight angle. An angle which is more than 180 degree is called reflex angle. Here M and N are any two non-parallel lines and L is another line intersecting them at A and B respectively. We call such intersecting line L as transversal. Hence, a transversal is a line that intersects two lines at distinct points. If a transversal meet two lines, 8 angles are formed at the point of intersections, as you see in the diagram. We can classify these angles into different types such as corresponding angles and alternate angles. Let us learn about these angles in detail. Here in this diagram, the pair of angles which you see in the diagram as A and B are called corresponding angles. Here also you can see some of the corresponding angles. Here A and B are the corresponding angles above the lines. Here you can see the corresponding angles below the lines, which are in the left of the transversal. Here you can see the corresponding angles below the lines which are in the right of the transversal. Now let us see alternate angles. These are the alternate interior angles. These angles are also alternate interior angles. These are the alternate exterior angles. These angles are also alternate exterior angles. Here you can see all the interior and exterior alternate angles and corresponding angles together. In a specific case of a transversal, the alternate angles are equal and the corresponding angles are equal when the given lines are parallel. Here you can see that the corresponding angles are equal when the lines are parallel. Here you can find the alternate angles are equal when the lines are parallel.